1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 33, God is a God of order. He is not an author of confusion. He is a God of order. Just as God created harmony in nature and relationships, music should reflect this divine order. So we should see order in music. Melody, harmony, and rhythm should have a certain order and a certain emphasis for them to sound spiritual. Besides, it's not just words or the lyrics, it's also the music. Remember, the definition of harmony is that either played or sung together. So even without the lyrics, the music should sound spiritual. This is why it's usually safe to sing hymns, because the principle behind hymns, the melody, the harmony, and the rhythm, they are so spiritual. But nowadays there is a challenge because many people are now rearranging the hymns and they are now putting worldly styles into these hymns and they lose their meaning. So we are going to delve deeper into harmony, melody, and rhythm and how these elements can be used to produce spiritual songs, hymns, and sounds. I would want to continue with the quotation evangelism, page 508, paragraph 1. Those who make singing a part of divine worship should select hymns with music appropriate to the occasion, not funeral notes, but cheerful yet solemn melodies. The voice can and should be modulated, softened, and subdued. I saw that all should sing with spirit and with understanding also. God is not pleased with jargon and discord. I just want to stop right here and say that, did you know or have you ever noticed that most musicians, when they are coming up with their song, they are looking for something that is complex? I would call it jargon. For example, I'm a researcher in my field of studies, electrochemistry, specifically lithium ion batteries. So if I come to you and I start talking about reaction kinetics, thermodynamics, and I'm trying to sell you this battery, and I talk about the kinetics of the cathode, the NCM cathode, the anode, you might not understand all these things. That I would say that is jargon. So many a times musicians use jargon to present or to speak to the church. I remember Ephesians chapter 5 verse 19 says that, speak to yourselves with psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. So as musicians, we are supposed to speak, we are supposed to teach doctrine through music. But the moment we start using jargon, using these complex rhythms, these complex harmonies, these complex melodies that the general population or the general congregation doesn't understand, there becomes a problem. The spirit of prophecy here is saying, I saw that all should sing with spirit and with understanding also. God is not pleased with jargon and discord. We are also going to define what discord is in the future series. Right is always more pleasing to him than wrong, and the nearer the people of God can approach to correct harmonious singing, the more he is glorified. The church benefited and unbelievers favorably affected. That is Evangelism, page 508, paragraph 2. Music as an element of divine worship is modeled after the heavenly choirs. The implicit argument is that church music should reflect divine order and beauty rather than chaotic and unstructured noise. This aligns with biblical references such as Revelation chapter 14 verse 3, where the redeemed sing a new song before God's throne. So the passage that we just read from Evangelism, page 508, paragraph 2, critiques poor vocal technique, especially the tendency for some singers to use untrained, shrill, and discordant tones. Remember, we should avoid jargon and discord. Discord is not just what we were told that this person is singing discord. There are certain genres like jazz, like, forgive me for not remembering the other genres, where we have these tensional chords and tensional tones. They are kind of discordant but pleasing, that kind of imbalance. We are going to talk about these genres and these musical styles as well. We are supposed to avoid these discordant tones and these discordant harmonies. From a musicological standpoint, this suggests that proper training in vocal modulation, pitch control, and harmonious blending is not merely artistic but a spiritual duty. It is your duty as musicians to understand pitch, to understand melody, to understand harmony. I know in most cases the director is the one who gives the direction to the music, and as group members we just come and sing according to what the director is saying. As members, it is your duty to understand pitch, to understand melody, to understand harmony, to understand rhythm, to understand tempo, timbre. It is your duty. The Bible gives us an impression that the Levites who ministered through music in the temple of God, they were trained. Yes, they might be gifted, but the Bible gives us the idea that they were trained musically. It is your duty as a member of a group or as a singer, as a musician, to get some training of some sort. It is very important. I don't want to lengthen this discussion, so I'm going to cut it short and present to you that there is a style that is sacred. The Bible gave us a picture that we are supposed to sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. And remember, spiritual things are spiritually discerned. You cannot use your carnal mind to say that this song is spiritual. You need to be spiritual for you to identify or define a song as spiritual. Spiritual things are spiritually discerned. So in the next episodes, we are going to be talking about harmony and melody and rhythm, and how we can use these to make spiritual songs, and how we can use these elements to detect or analyze other people's music, whether they are in accordance to the principles of God or not. May you be blessed.